Aloha, I'm Sabrina with Begin Being, the channel dedicated to guiding you to being the best version of you, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and physically. And ultimately, our goal is to help you to remember who you truly are and why you are here. Now in today's video, we're going to be talking about Huna. A lot of you have been asking me, what is this Huna that you keep talking about? So I decided to make a video about it and to talk about energy. And I've included 3 facts that prove energy is real. So let's get into it. First, what do I mean by energy? Well, it's your ability to connect with Source, the universe, God, or any of the other many names for God. Maybe you prefer the Hawaiian goddess Pele, the goddess of volcanoes. Or maybe you're an atheist or an agnostic and you prefer thinking of it as connecting with the same energy that your Wi-Fi, your smart TV, your car, and so on connect to. Basically, it is an energy that's available to all of us to be able to connect to. And our technology is doing so right now while you're watching this. Now, some of you may be going, okay, all right, well, why is this important? Why should I care? Well, if you want to control your own environment and your own energy, it's very important to learn how to tap into that and how to connect with it. I'll give you an example. If you've ever been in a room, like maybe you're at work, in a meeting, or at a party, and everybody's just kind of, talking, everything's going fine and smooth, and the vibration is just really high. And then someone walks into the room, and immediately the energy shifts. And immediately people kind of maybe go quiet, or they're like looking around. Perhaps that person walked in and they've had a bad day. They're in a bad mood. Something happened on their way to get to this event, and they are just completely not in a good mood. Their energy is like down, is in a mood of not having that happiness that everyone else around them has. And you can feel the energy in the room shift. You can feel everyone else's mood shift around them. Now, why is that? It's because in that moment, their energy happens to be stronger than yours. Perhaps it's, maybe your partner or your kid or your parent comes home and you know immediately that they're in a bad mood, and that mood starts to affect you. Well, there's something wrong with that. It's actually perfectly natural. What's happening is they're just emitting a stronger energy than you in that moment. Now, if you know how to work with your own vibration, if you know how to work with your own energy and your own frequency, you can actually raise the mood in the room and help not only you, but the people around you and that other person who just walked in. Or perhaps you're the person that comes in a bad mood. Maybe somebody cut you off in traffic. Maybe your boss was overly harsh that day, or you perceived them to be. Have you ever come in a bad mood and, maybe you yelled at someone you love, or maybe you were just like sulky, or, you just kind of weren't in a good mood. Maybe you were a little bit of a brat. It happens to all of us. Things happen in our life. Like I said, we get cut off in traffic, or, someone treats us in a way that's probably inappropriate, or at least you perceive it to be inappropriate. And then we come home and we carry that mood with us. It's perfectly natural, and there's nothing wrong with that. And what if we can learn how to transmute it? So that as we're pulling up to the house, or as we're pulling into our workplace, maybe that person cut us off in traffic. Maybe, our boss did something, or our partner said something, something that we perceived, and something that made us feel grumpy, in a negative mood in some way. Maybe we, filmed an entire video and our mic battery went out and we had to refilm a good portion of it. Okay, maybe that's just me. All right, well, that actually did happen to me in 2017. I used to have a YouTube channel that I was doing with someone, and we decided to no longer do that. But in the meantime, when I was filming this particular video, this actually happened. And at the time, even though I was still working with energy some at the time, I wasn't working with it as much as I do now. And so I filmed the video and got done, was happy, yay, go to edit, and the mic cuts out, so you can't hear over half of the video. And I had to refilm. Well, as you can imagine, I was probably in the mood of frustration. Unfortunately, in the moment, I didn't recognize it. So I'm frustrated, I'm grumpy, I'm refilming it, and then later I go to edit it and I'm like, ooh, this isn't a good video. I can't post this. Like, you can feel the energy, you can see it in me, you can feel that frustration, the whole video is like, Urgh. Well, this happened again in 2021. I was filming a video for work and same thing happened. In the middle of the video, didn't realize it, my camera battery went, not my camera, my mic battery went out. And same thing, going to edit, oh no, the sound is gone. However, I've been doing a lot more energy work since 2017, as you should. And this time I recognized the energy. This time I recognized it and I thought, you know what? This is an opportunity for me to be able to refilm the video and to do an even better job this time. This is an opportunity to maybe like add in something I didn't have in before. So with gratitude, I refilmed. And I also did some grounding works. Before I refilmed, I cleared my energy and I did some grounding work. We'll do a video on grounding so you can know what I'm talking about later. And I did some grounding work to be able to refilm in a more harmonious energy and an energy of gratitude that I got this chance to make this video even better. Now, knowing that our energy affects others, it affects what we can manifest, and it ultimately, it affects our success in life. So being able to work with energy is vitally important if you want to be able to continue smoothly in this new, what are they calling it, 5D world now? But I, and many others, scientists included, are promoting that working with energy is vitally important to take our lives to the next level. Now, the type of energy that I work with is called Huna. And I teach it because the more I study quantum physics, the more I study energy, the more I truly believe that it is absolutely vital for us to be practicing. And there are many different ways you can study energy, and the way that I've chosen is Huna. And if you know about Reiki, it's very similar to Reiki in a lot of aspects, and there are differences as well. Now, I'll get to the differences a bit later. Right now, I want to talk about some of the similarities. They are similar in that they both use a universal source of energy. They both teach you how to use the energy that exists all around us and how to transmit that to others as well. It's like you're a Wi-Fi router and you're tapping into the Wi-Fi, you're tapping into the signal, and you're directing it to your cell phone, your smart TV, whatever, your gaming system, whatever it is you might be. So it's as if you are a Wi-Fi router and you're grabbing the signal out of the air and then directing it to another person, or sometimes even to yourself. We all know that our computer, our smart TV, our Fire Stick, our Google TV, our Apple TV, they all need an internet connection to work. And they grab that through a router. So they're grabbing information from the universe, from source, and directing it to your technology, your gaming system, whatever it may be. Now, if you're thinking, I'm not so sure about this whole energy thing, like, touching people or, putting your hands against people and doing something, like that is way too woo-woo. Well, think about this. If you had handed my grandparents a cell phone when they were young, they would have thought it was either magic or maybe you're an alien, because that technology was way out of their field of experience. And that was just 3 generations ago. That's it. That's all. That's how far away we are from being magicians to the past. There are people alive today who have never seen electricity. They have no idea that it even exists. If you were to walk up to one of those people and show them your cell phone, they'd probably make you their next shaman because you have powerful magic. So how do I know this energy thing is real, and how can I prove it? Fact number 1. We can send and receive transmissions through the air. And it started with what we know as the telegraph. In 1753, now I want you to pay attention to this date because it's going to be important later. In 1753, an anonymous writer wrote into a magazine suggesting an electrostatic telegraph machine. In 1816, the first telegraph was invented using static electricity. Now, we can't exactly see static electricity, which was why when you were a kid, it was so much fun to like rub your feet on the carpet and then go up to your friend or your parent or a sibling and like, you know, shock them because they couldn't see it coming. Now, we can't see static electricity, but we can see the effects of it. So if you remember when you were a little kid, you used to take like a balloon and rub it on your head, and then your hair would stand up. That is static electricity. Now, remember how I told you to pay attention to the first date, 1753, and the second date was 1816. That's 63 years later. Imagine what people thought about the anonymous writer. They thought that person must have been absolutely crazy. And probably no one believed them. Now, you would think that discovering a way to transmit messages would be this absolutely amazing, groundbreaking discovery. It wasn't. The inventor who invented it tried to actually sell it to the English government, and they considered it wholly unnecessary. It took 20 more years for society to believe in the energy of the message transmission. Overall, it took society almost a century to believe in the energy of the telegraph. Luckily, the early energy pioneers did not give up. They kept on going. In 1836, Russia finally became the proud owner of a telegraph machine. They started the project, and in 1837, the inventor died, scrapping the entire project. Others were still working on it, and that same year, Samuel Morse was working on a version of his own. And you may recognize his name with Morse code. By 1844, he sent his famous "What hath God wrought" message. And now society truly believed. And not only did they believe, but now they wanted it. They wanted the energy of the magical message machine. Say that 5 times fast. Magical message machine. They began to build an extensive network of wires that could transmit messages through the first, post office that had the capabilities to receive the message and to transmit the message. And they wanted it so much that the systems became overwhelmed. In 1871, Alexander Graham Bell began working with different frequencies to improve the telegram. As they were working with frequency division multiplexing, they realized that they could actually send the human voice through the wires. By 1876, the first phone call was made. The message: "Mr. Watson, come here, I want you." Still paying attention to the dates? Let's review. In 1844, the first Morse code message was sent. In 1876, the first phone call was made. It took society almost a century to believe in this energy technology. Once they believed, it only took 32 years for the next advancement. With this advancement, we moved from using static electricity to electromagnetic energy. By 1897, Guglielmo Marconi used radio waves to send the first ever Morse code wirelessly over the open sea. The message: "Are you ready?" Interestingly, both him and Nikola Tesla found radio waves at the same time. Radio frequency energy is described by the FDA as a type of electromagnetic radiation, which is combined of electric and magnetic fields that move through space together as waves. This leads me to fact number 2. Emerging science is now showing that there are 2 types of energy or fields existing in our brain: electromagnetic and quantum energy or fields. The electromagnetic energy is thought of as the dominant energy in purely motor and sensory inputs in our brain. Quantum field or energy is perceived as more influential in brain cognitions. We've known that our brains run on electromagnetic energy, and we are now finding that they also run on quantum energy. Combine this with the fact that our synapses in our brain don't actually touch each other. In fact, physics tells us that we never actually touch anything. Instead of getting into a very long, yet really fun for me, detailed explanation, I'll give you a brief overview. So you're perhaps sitting right now in a chair, and maybe you're watching this on your phone. So you're sitting in a chair and you're holding a phone. You're actually not touching either one of them. What is happening is the electrons in your hand or on your legs, your bottom, are repelling against the electrons in the phone or in your chair, meaning you are technically hovering above it, just hovering right above it, not actually touching, but it's at an unfathomably small distance. So, any one of you who, wished you could fly for your birthday, or, threw some money in some water, any one of you who ever wished you could fly, congratulations, you've got your wish. Because technically, your feet are not touching the ground. You are actually flying, albeit ever so slightly. This means that we are using electromagnetic and a more advanced quantum energy to transmit information wirelessly. What else do we know about our brain? Fact number 3, our brain is capable of processing even more than the fastest supercomputer. To give you a comparison, you would have to use the amount of energy that it would take to power an entire building to run computations in a supercomputer. Those same computations in the human brain would take the amount of energy required to power a dim light bulb. Currently, the flexibility in the human brain and its ability to rewire itself is unmatched in any computers or any technology. Now, this could be changing. In 2019, both Google AI and NASA announced that they actually have a working, running quantum computer. This has been debated. Mostly it's due to an issue with superposition. As a side note, if you really want to get good at manifesting, understanding the quantum physics of superposition is a must. I'm thinking about doing a video on it, as going down that rabbit hole would be exceptionally fun and an absolute convincer that manifesting is real as well. But I digress. Now, earlier this year, in June of 2023, IBM has actually claimed to solve this problem of superposition, and soon it's possible that our brains might not be on the top of the processing ladder. Even so, the technology that is required to be able to send messages, phone calls, videos through the energy that's all around us, that technology is nowhere near advanced as a supercomputer. And our brains are even more advanced than that. In fact, the machine that sent the first telegram looks more like a sewing machine than a computer. This means that we, as humans, are using electromagnetic energy to transmit information wirelessly better than any known technology. Taken together, what do all of these facts mean? Fact number 1, we can send and receive transmissions through the air. The first transmissions were sent through a more primitive static electricity. Today, the transmissions are sent through electromagnetic energy. Fact number 2, our brains use electromagnetic and quantum energy. The synapses in the brain that transmit that energy do not actually touch each other, meaning they are transmitting electromagnetic energy wirelessly. Fact number 3, our brains are so advanced that, at least at the beginning of 2023, no technology can even compete. What this means is that if you do not believe that you are capable of directing energy towards someone else for the purpose of healing, if you do not believe that you're capable of using energy to create your own reality or to connect with the planet as a whole, then you must be the crazy one. Think about this. If we can build a device that is far inferior to our brain and use it to connect with all of the energy around us, it would be insulting to ourselves, to each other, to think that our brains are not capable of the same feat. And that is not even taking into account what our heart is capable of. With the HeartMath Institute, science is now proving the connection between our heart and our brain and the importance of putting the two in coherence and how much more powerful it makes us. Now that is definitely a different video. Now at the beginning of the video, I told you that there are also some differences between Reiki and Huna. Now I'm a Reiki master and I also teach Huna. I experienced Reiki first, and then I experienced Huna afterwards. And I've talking to other Reiki masters and Huna practitioners, and they all sort of say the same thing, which is basically it sort of feels like Huna is almost more of like a stronger type energy, as if Reiki comes in more like, remember the old 2G, TDMA, and the flip phone type cell phones? It's almost as if Reiki comes in at that signal strength, and Huna comes in more at the modern, smartphone 5G energy. Now, personally, I think that it's just because Huna is an older energy. So Reiki came around in the 1920s. So it's about 100 years old or so. It's not exactly known how old Huna is. What I can say is that the lineage that I am connected to goes back 28 generations. So depending on how you calculate a generation, there are some different ways, different numbers that people use, but it's about around 1,000 years. So, and it's even older than that. That just happens to be the lineage that I am connected to. As to how much, I'm not sure, but basically thinking 100 years to over 1,000 years, there's a lot more time for that energy to come in. A lot more people over the years, centuries, have been connected to it. So it's personally kind of why I believe that there's a difference in the energy. Now, the energy comes from the same source, so ultimately it's the same energy that's coming in. Just like on your cell phone, you can get the 2G energy, or 2G signal, or 5G signal. Or maybe a better way to compare it to would be like a 4G signal, because that's still smartphone. Either way, the 4G signal, it's going to get your video. The 5G signal just might play your video faster. So there's just a little bit of a difference, same source, same energy, but a difference in how it feels. Another difference is that while you learn symbols with both Reiki and Huna, with Reiki, you normally don't learn the symbols until level 2, and then you only learn 3 of them. Now, some schools have started to add more symbols, so some people do know some more. I've been initiated into a few more than the typical 3. And then there's also at the master level, you learn some more symbols, but they're more for initiation, so initiating others into the Reiki energy. So there's 3 main ones that you would use, say on a day-to-day basis if you were working with others, performing Reiki and whatnot. So the difference between that and Huna is that with Huna, you get the symbols, they're called opua, and you get the opua right away in level 1. You get some of them in level 1, and so you're getting to work with them immediately. You don't have to wait till the next level, and there are 36 of them. 36 of them. They come from a very ancient manuscript. I would love to tell you about it. If you come to Huna, or me or one of the other trainers would love to tell you about it when you come to Huna. Now, to sum up what Huna is, it's an ancient Hawaiian energy technique that allows you to connect to the energy that is all around us. We teach you to connect with all 5 elements, like the wind that's blowing my hair right now, which helps you to be able to harmonize your life and see new perspectives. And we teach the ancient form of Ho'oponopono, which is an ancient Hawaiian forgiveness technique. You may have heard of it as a prayer, the I'm sorry prayer. We teach it how the ancients do it. And it's actually a lot more than just about forgiveness. It's about energetic cord clearing. And so it goes a whole lot deeper than just saying I'm sorry. So we teach you the ancient Hawaiian Ho'oponopono process. We also take you through a process of letting go of negative emotions, anger, sadness, fear, hurt, guilt, and limiting beliefs that you have that may be keeping you from conquering your dreams. We take you on amazing field trips to ancient sites and so much more. No, because I don't want to be one of the crazy ones. I'm going to go teach Huna. I'm going to be in my soul's home, Hawaii, coming later this week and teaching with fellow trainers and kumus. Now, kumu is an ancient Hawaiian word that if the ancient Hawaiians had colleges, it would basically be like a teacher or professor with a PhD. So a kumu is like, your teacher who has that PhD type credential. And I will be there with Kumu Dr. Matt James, Kumu Deanne Valen, Kumu Dr. Patrick Scott, Kumu Karen, Kumu Tamoy, Kumu Jane, Lan, and more. Huna and the islands are my heart. So I am so happy and grateful to be going home, and I will try to do some lives while I'm there. The internet is very spotty, it goes in and out, so the lives may or may not happen. If the internet doesn't support it, then what I'll do is I'll just record some videos and maybe post them as like shorts or something. All right, well, if you've enjoyed this video, please exchange some energy, that should be funny now, by clicking the like button. And if you want to know more, if you're interested in the topics that we'll be discussing, please make sure and subscribe and make sure you're getting the notifications so you know when the new videos come out. Now, if you would like to donate to my Patreon so I can have more energy exchange for making these videos, then please do so in the link below. If you want to know more, contact me. I'll also be having some courses coming out as well, so if you want to get a hold of those, you can put your email in below. If you are wanting to, I'm a coach as well, so if you're wanting to like take your life to the next level, again, contact me and we can see if we're a good fit. All right, well, as always, please choose love in all you do. Take care. See you soon. Mahalo. And no shit, my battery's blinking at me right now in this video. Not the mic battery this time, the camera battery, which is absolutely funny because I have a spare one and I left it at home. So I'm extremely grateful positive energy was used in making this video. Aloha, I'm Sabrina with the Begin Being. The show dedicated in the energy of the magical message transmission. There we go. Magical message machine. No. Magical message machine. With this, okay, we're gonna stop really quick, get some water. It's really hot. Oh, wind, you feel really good. Okay. Thank you, Makani. Mahalo. This leads me to fact number 2. This leads me to fact number 2. Emerging science, not emergency, emerging science. This leads me to fact number 2. Emerging science is now showing that 2 energies or fields exist in our brain. Quantum magnetic energy. Nope. Electric magnetic energy and quantum energy or fields. Ooh.
Is that yours?
No, that's not mine.
No wind or nothing out here.
There was some wind earlier.
Count the days.
Yeah.
Then we get out of your hair.
All right, have a good day. Okay, so to prove my point, this nice older gentleman came by walking his dog, and he decided to ask me in the middle of me filming what I'm doing. And so I told him that I was filming a video for YouTube, and he kind of was like, YouTube? Huh. Does that go on the internet? And it was so sweet and adorable, and it kind of just proves exactly what I'm talking about. in his model of the world, that's not really a thing. Like, he probably doesn't go on YouTube. He probably doesn't have, you know, a YouTube login to watch videos and stuff like that. And I thought it was absolutely hilarious that, you know, he comes by and starts talking to me about the weather and starts a conversation in the middle of me filming. And I'm like, that's the difference in the generations. That's the difference in technology. Someone younger would see someone talking to a camera and they would probably be like, oh, okay, you know, they're busy, they're doing something. But in his generation, it's all about face-to-face physical communication. So his belief system is different. I don't know. Maybe it's good to keep an open mind.